The Los Angeles Clippers are entertaining this season, but a bit short-handed. That hasn't really stopped us and media alike from rating them as one of the teams that could come out of the West and win the West. Currently, they are second favorite by ESPN behind the champion Warriors to win the West. Some, including me, believe they have the potential to be the biggest sleeper in the West. In this video, we're continuing our season overview series around the league for the top teams in each division. The Clippers is a team I'm excited to do, not only because I don't really mention or talk about the Clippers that much on this channel because as you guys know, I'm a Lakers fan, but also they've been relatively quiet the last couple years. Kawhi has been dealing with injuries, PG dealing with the same, and this past season we saw Reggie Jackson put on his scoring and facilitating ability on display to show that he could be a viable third option on this squad. The Clippers may not have won the offseason outright, but they sure had a top 3 offseason in the league without question. This season alone, they re-signed Zubats, they extended Robert Covington, signed Xavier Moon, Amir Coffey, and their biggest free agent signing was John Wall. Not to mention they also signed Norman Powell, which they got him last year, but they only had him for 5 games and they had to re-sign him. John Wall, he joined the Rockets in the rush trade ahead of the 2020 season after missing the season prior with the torn Achilles. He only played 40 games for them and he averaged 20 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. He shot 40% from the floor and 31% from deep. Wall and the Rockets pretty much agreed to sit him out, which made sense for the Rockets as they have plenty of young guards that they'd rather see develop, and they wanted to preserve John Wall for trade value and didn't want him to get hurt. Essentially, he was being paid to sit at home and stay in shape. We know John Wall hasn't played a full season since 2016, but with the help of PG, Kawhi, Reggie Jackson, and the other supporting cast of the Clippers, he should have a lot of weight off his shoulders, which will allow him to be in more of a Robin role, as he stated himself. The Clippers took full advantage of their owner Steve Ballmer's bag this offseason. They were able to retain and keep their depth while adding a vital piece that may or may not have been needed at the point guard position, but helps regardless because it adds depth. The Clippers did lose up backup center Isaiah Hartenstein, which indicates they'll probably be playing more small ball this season, taking full advantage of their wing depth. Though the only major addition was John Wall, the Clippers were able to retain much of their depth, like I said before. And honestly, in the last years, it seems like that's become harder and harder in this league. You see guys like PJ Tucker, you see guys like Pat Bev, and other key role players to some contending teams. They're kind of shifting around. There's those core young pieces that teams have, but those older vet pieces that aren't exactly there for the future, they've been moving quite a bit these last couple years. So all in all, I give the Clippers kudos for keeping their depth. Kawhi, he's looked stronger and healthier than ever before. We have seen some workout pictures and Kawhi's been looking like an absolute unit. I remember seeing on Twitter the other day, someone called him Kathai because his quad looked crazy. His quads really mirrored that of Saquon Barkley. And other than Kawhi, I've been watching some PG workouts, and more specifically when he was at the Rico Hines run, and watching that run start to finish, PG looks sharper than ever. PG looks like he's ready to take the season head on, and I fully expect him and Kawhi to average at least 25 points each. John Wall will probably average a cool 15, 10, and 8, and all that remains for this Clippers team is to go into the season healthy and keep health on their side. ESPN has been putting out their projections and predictions for this upcoming season, and one of those foresaw the Clippers ceiling as winning the West. Now, the West is extremely deep, and I'm not sure if I want to quite concede that they'll overtake the Golden State Warriors in the West, but I can agree that the Clippers will be a force to reckon with regardless. The top 3 teams in the league all come out of the Pacific. The top 3 teams all come out of the Pacific Division, which doesn't bode well for my Lakers, but we'll talk about them on another time. But regardless, the West will go through Phoenix, Golden State, and LA, and I'm not talking about the Lakers. The Clippers have gotten stronger in the time that Kawhi and PG has been absent, which is a huge reason why they're viewed so favorably. The additions of Norman Powell and Robert Covington will be intriguing to see with amazing two-way guys like Kawhi and Paul George. This team will have any team in the league this year in matchup hell and have them guessing on offense because from top to bottom, the talents on the defensive side of the ball and the length that the Clippers got is crazy. Robert Covington is back and is a reliable 3-and-D guy that can shoot the ball from 3 at a respectable 45% and an efficient 50% from the floor overall. He averages a steal and block throughout his whole career and has shown that he prides himself on defense. What I love most about bringing Norman Powell in is that he and Roka are very similar. The difference between the two is that that one is stronger in an area that the other is weak. Norman Powell is an extremely athletic guy that can shoot the ball and finish over people if he needs to, whereas Rocco, he's more of a bruiser kind of guy. He can shoot the ball as well, but they both have great length on defense. They play very great defense, but where one lacks, the other is strong in, and that is an advantage for them because they can switch all types of matchups and play with what kind of defensive sets they want to be in. Now, Norman Powell is a great leaper and finisher at the rim. In the past 5 years, he's improved his shooting ability. He went from a career 20 to 30% three-point shooter to a 35 to 40% shooter, with his best year being in 2020 with the Raptors, where he shot 44% from three. Norman is back home in SoCal, and he will obviously have something to prove as he gets to play with family in the building at just about every home game. Last year, he only played in 5 games with the Clippers, as I stated before, and 40 with the Trill Blazers. In Portland, he averaged 18 points per game and 33 minutes of work a night, and he shot 45% from the field and 40% from three. The 5 games where he did play with the Clippers, he shot 54% from three. Though a very small sample size, he was still shooting very well, and the Clippers look for him to continue that hot shooting streak coming into the year and going beyond. Terrence Mann will more than likely be in the most improved discussion this year, as his development has been amazing even without Kawhi and PG on his side, which might have helped him, so to speak, because he didn't have to share touches with them as much. Mann played in 81 games last year, averaging 10 points per game, 5 boards, and 2 assists. His shooting splits were 48, 36, and 78% respectively, and the free throw percentage, it does need some work, but everywhere else, he's fairly accurate on the floor, and I think he's just going to get better with efficiency as he gets older. I think this year, Terrence Mann is going to be an important player for the Clips, and while he may not average 10 points per game, being that there are more scorers, he still will be a vital role to this team winning their franchise's first ring. While championships are not won on paper, as other LA teams have seen and found out the hard way, the Clippers have constructed their best roster since entering the PG Kawhi era, and now this team just has to stay healthy. They need to come together and compete for their first title. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be a long road, especially because an 82 game stretch is a lot of time. Hopefully with the depth that they've built, Kawhi and PG can have more off nights so that they can sustain their health and lead this team to the promised land. Personally, as a Lakers fan, I do not want to see this, but as a California native and someone that's from Southern California, it'll be good for not only California, but the game of basketball. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. As always, if you enjoyed yourself, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for your boy. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year. And if you're already subscribed, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. Let me know what you think the Clippers are going to look like this year. And it's your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories and debates on the tube. And I'm out. Peace.